Oh yeah, we're not gonna read the foreword.
No, because that thing is a mess.
No, we need to read it.
Okay, I'll read everything. I'll read the whole thing.
All right.
Are we ready?
Oh, I was already going, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Scholastic presents Worlds of Power Metal Gear, created by or written by FX9, though the cover says created by, so in case you thought that anybody else created Metal Gear, you're wrong.
Maybe this rendition.
The final countdown. The detonator timer ticked the seconds away. 15, 14, 13. Marine Captain Halley summoned every ounce of strength he had left in his body.
To not laugh.
Without thought. I'm sorry. I'm going to try really hard.
No, I mean, like, he summoned every ounce in his body to not laugh.
Oh, yeah. Same. Without thought for his own safety, he hurled himself toward Metal Gear, his right hand reaching for the white button that would disarm the weapon, but his hand never made it. As Halley leapt through the air with only seconds to spare before detonation, the dictator Katafi raised his pistol and fired. I found out that Katafi was a real character that was cut from Metal Gear.
Huh.
Yeah.
This one.
Other World of Power books you will enjoy. Master Blaster, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Not a Chance in Fucking Hell.
Oh, God.
Ninja Gaiden, and Wizards and Warriors.
I played all 4 of these, and it was not great.
Brandon and I took a look into the Castlevania one, and it was
Jesus
so
Christ
bad.
on sale. So
the premise is that the main, or like, there's a kid who's so good at video games that Simon Belmont traveled through a wormhole of some sort to get this kid, bring him back to his dimension to help him kill Dracula.
What?
It's literally an episode of Captain N.
It's FX9's self-insert.
They even describe him in the way he's depicted in Captain N.
Oh, that is horribly...
Not like he is shown on the cover of the book. Not how he's shown on the cover of the game, which is also the cover of the book. But how he's drawn for Captain N.
Now that's
terrible.
A lovely thing.
It's
terrible.
It's so bad.
Now here's my favorite thing. This book is not authorized, sponsored, or endorsed by Nintendo of America, Inc.
Where does it say that?
So it's after where it says other Worlds of Power books you will enjoy. On the next page, it says Metal Gear, a novel based on the best-selling game by Ultra Games. Got some other stuff in it. It says this book is not endorsed, sponsored, or endorsed, or authorized, sponsored, or endorsed by Nintendo of America, Inc.
How the fuck did they get... Holy shit, what?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know.
There's so much of that that's wrong.
All right, here we go. This book is dedicated to my son, Alex. Special thanks to Greg Holch, Gene Feiwel, Dick Crinsley, Donna Smith, Amy Burkauer, Sheila Callahan, Nancy Smith, Joan, that's not Juan, Joan Giordanella, Henry Morrison, Michael Cater, and especially Emil Heidkamp, K. Wolf Jones, and Kim Lee. I wonder if all of those people are like, you put my name in that book?
Wait.
I've read the book.
So, Heidkamp actually... I think he was a part of Konami at this time.
Oh. Well.
That name sounds super familiar.
Who was it? Heidkamp?
Yeah.
Emil Heidkamp. Heidkamp.
H-E-I...
We're not even on page 1.
I know, this is horrible.
Oh my god, there's game hints in here.
Yeah, so that's a big
chapter.
part of this whole thing was basically that. Like, these are basically, like, almost strategy guides in story form.
Well, I love it. I'm in love with every part of this. It's terrible.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, an autofill when I typed in Hyde Camp was the word Konami, so I assume there is a connection.
Oh.
Yeah, he worked. He was a sales consultant.
Okay, there we go.
Proud of that guy.
He was probably the
All
U.S.
right.
sales consultant for Konami of America at the time, is my guess.
I found his profile in LinkedIn.
Tell me it has this book listed.
Oh man.
He has that guy blacklisted on.
I bet he has blocked everything regarding this.
Yes. Okay. Are we ready to start?
We're ready to continue, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so chapter 1, the mission. Justin Halley strode purposefully through the underground hallways of Foxhound Command. At age 20... 72? No, he wouldn't be 20. He was born in 72, and this takes place in 96, so whatever. At age 20, he was the youngest captain ever to serve in the U.S. Marine Special Forces anti-terrorist squad known as Snake Men. His code name? Solid Snake. Halley had a lot on his mind. 3 weeks earlier, 15 Snake Men, half the squadron, had been dispatched from their underground training base on a top-secret mission. So far, not a single one of them had returned. Were they dead? Captured? Nobody knew. And none of the remaining Snake Men dared to speak of it out loud. They could only wait and wonder. Now, of the 15...
I cringe every time you say Snake Men.
Snake Men. Now, of the 15 Snake Men left, only Justin Halley had been sent for. The order had come directly from from Commander South, head of Foxhound Command, the military unit controlling the Snake Men. Can you imagine if you were doing a Snake Men drinking game? As Halley entered the command center, he saw that the vast room was empty except for 3 people. Himself, Foxhound Commander South, and South's brand new second-in-command Lieutenant General West.
Get fucked. I'm sorry. No. What?
What happened there, buddy?
As usual, Commander South was in combat fatigues, general's stars on his shoulders, colorful campaign ribbons and medals pinned to his chest, his camouflage pants tucked into his high-laced boots. A battered old beret with the insignia of the Snake Men was pulled down at an angle on his head. The beret had been with Commander South all the way through his many paratroop missions in Vietnam, and he'd sooner part with his right hand than with that ancient piece of clothing.
Oh my god, it's Venom Snake.
Oh my god, it is! Although he lost his left hand, but he's like, you know what? You can take the other one.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair.
Well, someone tried it like, okay, your hand or your shirt, or your hat. You know
what?
Take
the hand.
Take the hand. Lieutenant General West was wearing his dress blue uniform, freshly cleaned and pressed, and so stiff that it could stand at attention all by itself. I just went to a really dirty place.
Giggity.
The spit polish on his black shoes gleamed. West was a by-the-book kind of officer, but he'd improve with time.
Wait, what?
How dare he be by the books? The Snake Men squad would see to that.
This might take longer to read.
Yeah. Maybe we're gonna cut this up into a couple of
we might have
reading. To. Lieutenant General... Oh, wait, I'm past that. Solid Snake, we have a special mission for you, South told Halley, who stood straight and tall for him at attention, his dark blue eyes front. But it's voluntary, Captain Halley. You don't have to go. It may very well cost you your life. In fact, the chances are 10,000 to 1 against you. Sir! Justin called out snappily, his gaze never wavering. Have you ever heard of Dr. Ivan Petovich? Dr. Petovich, the astrophysicist and nuclear scientist who defected to our side from the Soviet Union 6 years ago? Yes, sir. That's the man. 8 months ago, he was kidnapped, and he seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. We expected to hear that one terrorist group or another was claiming credit for his capture and was holding him hostage, but no word came. We didn't know if he was alive or dead. Now we believe that he is in fact alive, but a prisoner. For some months now, our intelligence forces have been picking up random clues. At least they got the monologuing down.
Yeah.
We thought at first those clues were unconnected, but when we put them all together over a period of time, they began to point to a strong possibility. Now we're fairly certain that Dr. Petovich is alive and is hidden in a secret base of Colonel Vermin Katafi's, a base called Outer Heaven. Hallie's eyelids flickered, but he said nothing. No junior officer, not even one of the snake men, would dare to offer a comment to his commander unless asked to do so, but his pulse raced with excitement. Colonel Vermin Taffy, the single most feared terrorist on the planet, a psychopath bent on dominating the world, his nature so cruel as to verge on insanity. He was a total paranoid, his deeds those of a madman. Colonel Katafi was a dictator for life of his small but incredibly wealthy and savage desert country, Noria. Noria. I don't know. Narnia? Katafi's sole purpose in life was to bring the democratic nations to their knees. His terrorist actions were hideous, violent, always unexpected, and always effective because they struck fear into the hearts of world leaders. Katafi bombed civilian aircraft, killed innocent people, took non-combatants hostage, and tortured them without mercy. A mission against Katafi. Hallie felt his heart swell with eagerness. Also, here was a chance to rescue his buddies, the lost snake men. You know, the secondary thought in this whole thing.
No.
Yep.
Commander South continued. We now believe we've located the secret base. Satellite reconnaissance at a distant jungle has revealed an unfamiliar complex of buildings. Not in Noria, but somewhere else. I'm not authorized to share that information with you. It's got the highest possible secrecy classification. But we'll send you into it. I can only tell you, it's impossible to conceal a compound of that size and fortification in a desert country, so they went to the jungle instead. My favorite part is Brandon's continuous sighs throughout the whole thing.
With all the snake men.
There's
This is the most secretive spot we can go to, you know. Vegas.
Somewhere. Computer scans of the satellite photographs show a huge base, larger than anything we've dealt with before, heavily protected, and made up of a number of buildings. Hallie, it's our belief that this compound is Outer Heaven, and Dr. Petovich is held prisoner somewhere in there. 2 weeks ago, Dr. Petovich's daughter, Ellen, disappeared. Witnesses tell us that she was snatched from her college campus as she was leaving her dorm. 3 masked men carrying automatic weapons jumped out of a long black limo with phony license plates, forced her inside, and took off at 80 miles an hour. We believe now that Dr. Petovich didn't give in under torture. Now we're afraid that top secret nuclear information may have been taken from him because they're holding his only daughter prisoner, threatening to torture or kill her. But that's not all. Call now. there's
you can be
something
entered
else.
to win a Nintendo Game Boy. Plus a
Yay!
free trading card.
Something even more terrifying, something that has us really worried. Our intelligence sources have hinted at something called Metal Gear. What Metal Gear is and when it's scheduled to be launched against us, we don't know. We don't know what it looks like either, whether it's airborne or how it's armed. We don't know how or even whether it can be disarmed.
Gotta work to that sentence.
It carries a nuclear payload.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that this was written after the first Metal Gear game in that era because there's so many more Metal Gears and the world is like, we know.
Metal Gear MT-187.
Sahelanthropus.
Shagohod.
We presume it's controlled by some hidden supercomputer and that it carries a nuclear payload. But we can't be certain of any of this. Our information is too fragmented and too obscure.
Metal Gear is supposed to be a fancy pinata at this point.
Yeah, we don't know anything about it. All we're sure of is that Metal Gear is the most powerful and evil weapon ever devised. It could destroy our planet and every living thing on it. We've got to stop it before it's too late. Stand easy, Solid Snake. Justin Hallie took a step to the side and locked his hands behind his back. All his attention was focused on Commander South's words. 3 weeks ago, we parachuted half our snake men into the jungle, hoping they could infiltrate Katafi's hidden base and rescue Dr. Petovich. or at least bring us back useful data on Outer Heaven and Metal Gear. Not a
You
single...
can't bring him back. Bring back like a notebook or two.
Yeah, just like some drawings. Not a single one of them has come back. They may be all dead. There is some chance that one or more snake men may be held as prisoners. Our information on that is very scanty, I'm sorry to say.
That's not a word.
We can only... It's probably scant. He probably meant to say is very scant, because that is a word. We can only hope that at least some of our men are still alive. Hallie's skin prickled in anger and revulsion at the thought of his friends. Those assholes! Oh, wait. Good men. Perhaps dead, or even worse, alive under torture. Yet he said nothing. No flicker of emotion showed on his face. Only the strong muscle in his jaw clenched tight. Understand me, Captain Hallie. This will be your first solo mission, but there's a very good chance it may be your last one. Beyond doubt, it's a suicide mission. We want you to locate Outer Heaven, then search for and destroy Metal Gear. Destroy Metal Gear? A solo mission against overwhelming odds? Justin Hallie's neck hairs prickled at the idea of it, and excitement made the red blood rush through his veins.
As opposed to the white blood that Raiden has for being a cyborg.
Well, your blood is blue in your veins.
Mm-hmm.
No, the white blood.
Oh. Well, okay.
Because he's a cyborg.
He's a cyborg.
Artificial blood. He needs transfusion regularly.
You're gonna do all of Justin Hallie's talking. I'll be the narrator. Oh, never mind.
Oh, fine.
We want you to go in alone, continued Commander South. Into chapter 2. We don't even get a break.
No.
More
Never.
mission briefing. We want you to go in alone, continued Commander South, armed with nothing more than a compass. If you try to break in fully armed, you'll be slowed down. You won't last 5 minutes. We want you to be a shadow, to slip through unseen. Do you read me?
No.
That's your line.
Yes, sir. Every nerve in Hallie's mind and body were on red alert. Whatever weapons or equipment you need, you'll have to find on the spot or make do without. Speed is what's important here. So much speed. Take all of it.
All the drugs.
All of it. The mission has to be completed within hours of your arriving in our Outer Heaven. Commander South's stern face and steady gaze told Solid Snake as much as his words did, that this mission was of the utmost importance.
Wait, as much as his words. He said that like 16 times.
I gotta point out too that he specifically said he wanted Snake to find Outer Heaven, but they're dropping him off at Outer Heaven.
The inconsistencies, man.
It's like,
please,
we need you to
find
find it.
Outer Heaven. Don't worry, we'll get you there.
We don't know where
Here's
it is.
the front door.
We're here.
Look for a transceiver radio. When you locate it, tune it to Foxhound Command's secret frequency. Then you'll be able to receive our radio transmissions. If you find any snake men alive and held as hostages, set them free. Rescue as many as you can, and we'll pick them up later. But be careful. Very careful, Captain Hallie. Even when we are dealing with snake men. Don't let any... Sorry, I was going to burp and it didn't happen. Don't take anybody's word or anything at face value. Some of the snake men may have broken under torture and turned double agent. You won't know for sure which of them you can trust. As for Ellen, Dr. Petovich's daughter, we don't know whether she's alive or dead. If you find her alive, she may be of some help with her father. Try to rescue Dr. Petovich too, but if you can't, then you'll have to kill him. Okay. He's more valuable to our free world dead than alive, and in the dangerous hands of Colonel Katafi. Understood? Sir, said Solid Snake. It was understood. In the game of terrorism, the stakes were high, and often fatal. The compass you'll be carrying is the latest technology. It will transmit everything you say and contains a homing device. It points north.
It does. It's
the compass you carry has the latest technology. It has a magnet.
No cork and needle for us on this one.
He got it out of the cereal box. It's like out of his Fruit Loops from that morning.
I found it in with my Fruit Loops. Here, it might be useful if you, the master of compassing, take it with you.
Thanks, Chris.
Don't mention it.
It will transmit everything you say, and it contains a homing device. We'll be monitoring you constantly on the command center's computer screens. By means of the homing device and the compass, we'll be able to locate your position with pinpoint accuracy and target you to receive the radio transmissions that will give you all the up-to-date information we have. You won't be able to hear us through the compass, so you'll need to locate that transceiver as quickly as you can. As you penetrate the base, the radio broadcasts will help you as much as we can. You'll be contacted by our agent, codenamed Diana, on wavelength 12033. I like to think that this is 47's Diana.
So I also want to point out that the latest technology does not include a speaker.
It's a magnet?
Right, because it's a compass.
It's a compass. She will be your control. She may sometimes identify herself as Boss Man.
What?
We can't tell you any more than that. Once again, Captain Halley only nodded without speaking. That's some weird punctuation there.
She has two code names. She's Diana. Or Boss Man.
Just pick one.
Just pick one and stick with it. Nah, she gets two.
I don't understand. Once again, Captain Halley only nodded without speaking. He understood fully the need for secrecy. Once you're in outer heaven, you're completely on your own, continued Commander South. We can't tell you how the base is fortified or what traps Colonel Katafi and his forces might have set to detect your presence and kill you. This is a lot of pages to say basically, we're not helping you. Like, find everything, do everything. If you need us, find a transceiver. Done.
It's like they sent each Snake Man. It's like they sent each Snake Man in one at a time, gave them all the same spiel, never heard back from them. They're like, well, next.
Next in line.
And they just got tired of repeating it, so they kind of cut out some of the words.
Yeah. You'll have... excuse me. You'll have to elude all their traps, deal with their security forces, find our lost Snake Men and Dr. Petovich, locate which building houses Metal Gear, and somehow destroy the terrible weapon. It's a big job, Solid Snake. A very big job.
Giggity.
It's the biggest... it's the biggest mission one man has ever been sent on. 15 good Snake Men have already gone in, and not a single one has come back.
Oh, so I was right. They sent them in one at a time. It's like, well, fuck.
We can't afford to lose the rest of the squad. We're counting on you, and you alone.
15 men deep. You know what? One more.
We've got 15 more to go.
Fuck it.
A baker's dozen, buddy. Let's get this.
We're past a baker's dozen at this point.
Where's the line where you're like, where as a commander, you're like, maybe I should stop sending them in when it's...
Yeah, maybe we just send the remaining 15 all at once.
Or, I mean, you say more valuable dead than in the hands
just
of what's
bomb
his name.
The
Yeah,
place.
it's like problem solved. Just flip the switch and press the red button.
Yeah.
Done. Game over. We win.
You know, number 16's good. Let's go.
The other Snake Men will die in there with it, but whatever. We're counting on you and you alone, but the decision has to be yours. We can't order you in there to face almost certain death. Will you do it? Knowing the one chance in a million you have of coming out alive, do you still volunteer? Sir, yes, sir! That's all caps. I had to yell. Mm-hmm. Good. You'll leave in an hour. Could you imagine if he said no and they have to like rush the next guy in to give the whole spiel again?
My favorite part is like, just to let you know, this has got to be a volunteer mission. An hour later, all right, we're almost prepped for everything. That you are aware this is a volunteer. Like 16 confirmations before we're like, you know what? We're only an hour out. Just one more. Just got to make sure all the paperwork's done on this one.
Also, the stakes changed within like 5 pages. It is now 1 in a million, when previously it was like 1 out of 10,000.
Listen, he's not paid to keep statistics.
But he is paid to write, or was. I doubt he's still employed with that kind of accuracy.
Yeah, he got 10 novels out. I wonder if he's like actually, because this is obviously a pen name. Like FX9 is not his real name.
It's a group.
I wonder. Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's not all one person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I looked a little bit into that.
All right, well, now we know.
They didn't know how to talk to each other.
Yeah, or read what the previous person wrote.
Or yeah, and they didn't hire an editor.
Clearly. Okay. Good, you'll leave in an hour, said Commander South, nodding. We haven't a moment to spare, but first, get rid of that uniform you're wearing. South scowled at the crisp, olive-drab fatigue suit that covered Solid Snake's muscular body.
Oh God, was I right? Is there going to be like a porno in here?
One of them is gonna have just a naked Solid Snake.
Solid Snake is what I'll be once you're naked, Snake.
Nicely done.
I didn't have to try too hard. Oh wait, try hard.
We don't want you wearing or carrying anything that links you to your unit. This mission is top secret. We're issuing you a special camouflage suit. It's your skin.
It's called your birthday suit.
Pick it up at the quartermaster's. Sorry. Pick it up at the quartermaster's, put it on, and be back here at 1400 hours. No dog tags. Wear no identification of any kind. Take nothing else with you that might connect you to Foxhound and the Snake Men, with the exception of this compass. Is that watch the compass on the back? Has a key very hastily carved property of Foxhound on the back.
It's not even. It's the compass is just a decoder ring.
It's like a decoder / mood ring.
Oh my God, yeah. It's God. Red, therefore my blood is red.
It's white. I'm suddenly a cyborg!
Oh wait, now it's blue. I must be cold.
Is that clearly understood? Nothing. Yes, sir! Justin saluted snappily, turned on his heel, and marched out. As the door to the command center closed behind Hallie, Commander South sighed deeply and rubbed his hand over his brow. Do you think he bought it? Asked General West softly.
Fuck.
Hallie? He'll do as he's ordered. He's the best of the Snake Men. I hate to lose him. He's highly trained and qualified. It galls me to have to sacrifice Solid Snake, but that's the way it has to be if we're to stop this madman Katafi and his new infernal deadly weapon Metal Gear. Tell me about this oh wait. I was rubbing my eye, and so I thought it said, tell me about this Metal Gear. I was like, did you just give a whole speech about how awful the Metal Gear is, and you know nothing about it? Instead, it's, tell me about the Snake Men. Who are they? For a fraction of a second, South hesitated. The information on the squad was highly classified, top secret, but West was his new second in command, and therefore entitled to be briefed. Codename Snake Men is a unit that doesn't officially exist. You won't find them on any roster in the Pentagon, but somewhere in Utah... somewhere in Utah, in a silo deep underground, a picked elite force of 30 young Marine officers has been undergoing intensive anti-terrorist training. It's a different kind of training from anything you've ever imagined, West. In what way? General West asked curiously.
Universal Soldier. Addition...
What?
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Universal Soldier.
Oh. Well, I guess, I mean, that was one of the influences.
Yeah. Well, maybe to the book that we're reading.
In addition to being chosen for their courage, their intelligence and loyalty, for their incredible physical stamina and coordination, he's just going to keep going on. The Snake Men have been taught to survive with their bare hands. They've learned to create equipment and weapons out of nothing more than a hostile terrain, any kind of terrain, from big city to deepest jungle to driest desert. At the same time, they've been getting top secret training in 21st century weapons that the world believes are still only on the drawing boards. I'm proud to say that our Snake Men are trained to handle virtually anything. However, we're gonna leave them all to die.
Yeah, we're not good at this.
Most important of all, this unit has been selected for their intelligence and swiftness of mind. The snake men have been trained to use their brains to outthink their opponent. Oh god. To outthink their opposition, to project themselves into the actual mindsets of the enemy so that they can strike first, just like the snake for which they're named. Snake men use their brains before their guns in any situation, even when it threatens their own lives. Well, that's stupid. Yet they obey without thought or question the orders of a superior officer. In a world filled with warfare and terrorism, where space-age technology has made the destruction of the Earth more than a possibility, the Snake Men have been chosen to be saviors.
Wow.
And Hallie, as I said, Justin Hallie is the best of the Snake Men. He'll be almost impossible to replace, but we have no choice. Metal Gear is the most serious threat to democracy we've ever been up against. It's a weapon of unlimited potential for destruction. The future of the free world depends on our finding it and destroying it. I'm confused.
Just
They
blow
basically
up the island or whatever it is.
They also said, like, they gave this entire rundown to Solid Snake, and then when he left, they were like, man, do you think he bought it? Like, they were deceiving him, only to go on and reiterate everything they told him. Like, there's no deception here.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
What's happening here?
If you're going to use Solid Snake as a diversion device, then why did you give him the compass? Prompted West. It's a phony. It's just an ordinary government issue compass. Nothing special about it. I got it out of my box of Fruit Loops this morning.
Why was I right?
It's just something for Hallie to hang on to, but we will definitely be tracking him. The real homing device is a microscopic electronic unit sewed into the left sleeve of his new camouflage suit. That way, Jennifer can pinpoint him for radio transmission. Jennifer.
Nanomachines.
Also, God forbid that he lose any part of his outfit. Like,
my sleeve.
Like, going into dangerous territory, he might have to, like, bandage a wound. He might get caught on something. He might remove or lose his jacket entirely. Like, why would you put it in such a delicate area?
Yeah, honestly, the compass was a better idea.
The nanomachines would actually make more sense than this. That way, Jennifer can pinpoint him for radio transmission. Jennifer, you told Hallie Diana would be transmitting over the radio. Commander South chewed at his lip. Jennifer will also be transmitting, but Solid Snake won't actually pick up her signals because she'll be on a different frequency. Jesus Christ. He'll get Diana's instead, and she'll lead him around with false clues for as long as possible, so that we can buy a little time to set up the real raid. So
Jesus Christ on sale. So, Commander South, please, as your second in command, tell me again why we have to throw away what you just described as the perfect soldier.
Yeah, that's stupid. We're gonna send him in there as a ruse for the real raid,
which
buddy.
will not have our perfect soldiers.
So stupid. So Hallie is to be used as nothing more than a decoy. General West looked puzzled. Isn't Metal Gear 1 the one where Big Boss he's leading Solid Snake to die? Like, he wants him to die, so towards the end he starts giving him, like, false information.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically he's like running him in circles with his directions and inputs because he's trying. It's basically an inside job.
He doesn't want him to actually kill Venom Snake. Yeah,
Big Boss is technically the person. So that is Big Boss is giving him all of the information over the radio, and then it's revealed that he is actually the person at Outer Heaven, that he's the one actually in control.
Right. Yeah, but he was also trying to, like, because he was like, oh shit, I didn't think he was going to get here.
Yeah, he started giving him false information to try and turn him around.
Yeah, take him back to the beginning of the level and, like, lead him to his death, essentially, where he's just, like, not going to tell him about the pits that open up in the floor and stuff.
Or the giant rolling pin of doom.
Oh my gosh, so dumb.
No, it's great. Shut up.
I mean, amazing. Anyway, I'm intrigued as to what this is going to lead to.
I want to see the rolling pin in text form.
So Hallie is to be used as nothing more than a decoy? General West looked puzzled. I'm afraid so. We're sending him in to create a diversion, a smokescreen. Then the real attack by the full forces of Foxhound Command can take Colonel Katafi by surprise, catch him off guard, defeat him, disarm Metal Gear, Jesus Christ, save as many of our Snake men as are still alive, and rescue Dr. Petovich and his daughter. So everything they're sending Snake in to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
The commander smiled very sadly, and West could see the pain in his eyes. It was obvious that Commander South hated the deception he'd been forced to practice on his Marine captain, Justin Hallie. Captain Hallie, Solid Snake, is brave and loyal and very fast on his feet. Most of all, he's logical and quick thinking. Of all the Snake men we have left, he'll buy us the most time. So what you're saying is that Hallie is expendable? Captain Hallie is expendable? Asked West. Commander South sighed hopelessly. Worse than that, he's disposed.
So if you want to have like the most time bot, wouldn't you want to send in the guy who's most likely to get spotted?
Yeah, so then their attention is focused on like torturing that guy or whatever.
Yeah, instead of sending in
Your
the guy
best?
who is most likely to not get spotted,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
that ain't
we're
gonna
all
buy you
for-
any time.
And expendable and disposable is the same thing.
Oh my god. We're definitely gonna be doing this in a few sittings.
That's fair.
But I'm having fun.
Yes, this is enjoyable.
Chapter 3,
Ugh.
getting in.
Getting in my pants. Hello, this is Trouser Snake. I mean, Solid Snake.
Sooner
What's
or
the
later.
difference?
Justin Hallie sat in the dark glider, his long legs cramped up to almost his chest. His seatbelt buckled across his shoulder and lap, the parachute strapped to his back. He'd been sitting like this for many hours. The glider was completely sealed, his little cockpit let in no light. Hallie had no idea what direction the mother plane had carried him. All he knew for certain was that at some predetermined point, just before the jet came within radar range of outer heaven, the glider had been released. Soon, it would lose enough altitude to come in low and escape enemy radar detection. Later, at some other present time, the explosive bolts of the glider's cockpit cover would release, and Hallie would parachute out and down into the unknown. From there, he'd be on his own. The sudden sound of the cockpit bolts exploding startled Hallie, but the instant his eject seat hurled him out of the glider, every one of his senses was on red alert. The chute opened without effort, unfurled like a giant silken sail, and carried Solid Snake silently to Earth. He snapped the lines free and gathered the folds of the chute into a bundle he could carry. Now he looked around him, trying to see something, anything, but visibility was zero. Hallie had landed in complete darkness, in the middle of what felt like, and smelt like, jungle. Trees and vines were all around him, and there was a heavy, warm mist rising from the jungle floor. Seeing anything at all was impossible. Down and safe, he spoke into his compass. Poor Justin Hallie, just talking to a compass like a dumbass.
I'm not crazy, you're crazy.
Hoping that someone at Foxhound Command was online and was monitoring him. All around him, Hallie heard the sounds of the jungle, of wild beasts, night stalkers, and killer animals. It was too dark to travel. He'd have to wait until dawn. But wouldn't nighttime be a good time to
It's,
infiltrate?
it's the best time for a sneaking mission.
Yeah. Climbing up into a nearby tree, Hallie disturbed a sleeping tribe of little red monkeys who scattered through the branches, angrily chattering. So he's making noise too?
Jesus Christ, oh my god.
Justin wrapped the parachute around him and settled into the crotch of the tree to grab a few hours of uneasy sleep. He didn't know when he'd get the chance to rest again. 3 hours later, Hallie awoke. And also, didn't they say just in the last chapter that he was going to go in and only have a few hours in the base?
I'm gonna take a nap.
I'm going to go sleep for 3 of them. 3 hours later, Hallie awoke, although the sun could barely pass through the thick, jungle canopy, enough light penetrated to rouse Hallie. All of his senses on red alert, he looked around him in every direction. Apart from the animal and bird sounds of early morning, there was nothing. Justin climbed down silently to the jungle floor and set out on his mission, the search for outer heaven.
Remember, he's the best.
The best. Some highly developed instinct, the result of his snake man training, led his feet west. Okay, so it's just instinct. He noticed that there were fewer birds and monkeys in that direction, and fewer animals always spells the dangerous presence of man. So it wasn't instinct, it was him using his eyes.
How dare you? He didn't walk with his eyes, he walked with his feet.
Animals were far from stupid. They could, unlike Justin Hallie.
Unlike Justin Hallie, who is not Snake.
They could teach man a few tricks about survival in hostile terrain. So west Hallie went, keeping low and as quiet as possible. As he moved without sound through the jungle, Justin Hallie found himself suddenly in a patch of jungle growth that was fouled by a strong, almost sickening odor. His nose wrinkled. Solid Snake recognized that smell. Panther musk. It might be a useful weapon.
Why would he recognize that?
Specialized training, Brandon.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Therefore, he knows exactly what panther pee smells like.
Panther musk is the name of his cologne that he wears when he goes to the clubs.
Eau de parfum.
Eau de panther.
Panther musk. Eau de parfum. By Solid Snake. Oh my. Rubbing himself against the jungle. Rubbing himself against the jungle plants, Hallie let the heavy, musky cat smell seep into his suit of quote-unquote camos. So now he's just smelling. Now he's going to smell like panther pee. Eau de parfum indeed. Now he smelled exactly like a jungle killer. Other animals would keep out of his way, unless, of course, he should bump into another male panther. Then he'd be in for the battle of his life.
No, crab battle.
You know what?
Have you seen that?
No, but you can show me later.
Oh god, yes. I'm gonna have to show you that. Because, oh my god.
Solid Snake smiled at the thought of himself in a cat fight, although it would actually be no laughing matter if it actually
would be a slaughter. Yeah. There would just be dead Snake Man.
Another one.
Ugh.
At last, after 3 more miles of trudging through dense, dank vegetation, Justin Hallie saw light ahead. That could only mean a clearing, a man-made clearing. Why? It could just be the jungle clearing out a little bit, like thinning a bit.
I just had a picture that, like, this is the training that he did to roll himself in cat pee, and therefore, what if that cat fight has just kept happening 14 times in a row?
That one cat is like, I have beat every single one of those assholes.
That sumbitch is back again. Oh, shut up.
Oh my god. I am so both looking forward to and not looking forward to Castlevania 2. Because
that's gonna be wonderful and terrible.
Jesus Christ. I'm dying inside.
Here we go. At last, after 3 more miles of trudging through dense, dank man-made clearing. Trees had been cut down around a huge circle. See, there we go. Now I can understand why it's a man-made clearing. Several miles wide.
How could they just not see that by like flying by? It's like, oh, there it is.
That's not a clearing. That's not a clearing. That's like legitimately just an open space. Like a clearing, I figured. Zone. Yeah.
Several miles wide. It's bigger than most malls. What the? I just noticed it.
Yeah, several miles wide, and the leafy canopy had a large hole in it now. No kidding! Sunlight poured down. Careful now. Hallie crouched down and edged forward very slowly. Oh, now he's being careful. On the edge of the clearing, he stopped. Bingo. 3 military trucks with a strange insignia painted on their sides were parked in the clearing, 2 of them close together and the third one much farther off. The insignia, a grinning, fanged reptile entwined around a twisted, broken tree, was something Hallie didn't recognize, but it had a menacing quality that struck a familiar chord deep inside him. It told him that Metal Gear wasn't far away. Why? Like, why would it? It doesn't mean anything to me. Like, if I just came across this clearing and saw these trucks, I'd be like, ah, I must have found the clearing. Wonder where in this several mile wide clearing is Metal Gear. But Justin Hallie's like, it's here.
But also, he can't explore it openly.
Can I get an "it's here" in Solid Snake voice?
It's here.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Beyond the trucks, about half a mile away and surrounded by a high electrified fence, stood a vast compound of sealed-off buildings. They appeared to be made of cast concrete or heavy stone, and they had no visible windows. Solid Snake grinned. The satellite photos of Foxhound Command were on target. Didn't they need him to find Foxhound? But they have satellite imaging that they showed him.
Yeah. We need you to find it. Didn't you already find it? No, you need to find it though. Shut up.
Yeah, you showed me pictures though. Jesus. This massive and menacing compound must be outer heaven. Solid Snake sat back and spoke softly into his compass. I think I'm at mission site. I have visual ID of potential target. Looks like outer heaven, guys. He waited a minute, hoping for a reply, maybe a beep of some kind to let him know that his home base had him on the computer screen, but there was no return transmission. Was the monitoring
no speaker?
He's dumb.
Yeah, I found it. It's right there.
Was the monitoring system working, or had he been cut off from Foxhound Command? He'd have to locate a radio transceiver as soon as possible to find out. Justin stood up carefully, looking in every direction. He's like, where am I?
Like a meerkat, just like, huh?
He's got like his hand over his eyes, like, what's over there? Like, sit down, Justin. As he did, the jungle silence was broken by a sudden ear-splitting chorus of snarls and growls. 6 barking killer dogs, giant, half-starved Dobermans, burst out of one of the trucks. Their fangs were enormous, white and sharp. Their powerful jaws dripped foamy saliva. Snapping and howling, they raced towards Hallie at top speed.
Look, doggy!
Puppy!
Hi there, puppy.
Chapter 4, Inside the Gates. In his training with the Snake Men squad, just how drunk would all of us be if we really did a Snake Men drinking game?
Last pretty quick.
I would be dead.
I'd still keep going.
I say that based on the fact that I don't drink, therefore I have no tolerance.
Oh, I don't drink, and I don't know what my tolerance or limit is, so...
I know my tolerance, and it's high.
Well, again, there's a lot of snake men mentioned, therefore I'd be dead.
But yeah.
It's true. In his training with the Snake Men squad, Justin had learned an entire language of commands to control killer dogs. He could get them to halt and to sit in German, Russian, Swahili, Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, and a dozen other tongues.
But not regular dogs. Not regular dogs, only killer dogs.
I feel like you could also learn that, like, on Google Translate. Like, you just memorize
Quick, how do
it.
I say stay in Cantonese?
But he had no idea in what country he was now, not even which continent. His canine vocabulary would be of no use here. He had only seconds to spare.
Okay, so I know this for a fact. When they do dog training for like police dogs and such, they train them in a different language.
Yep.
Separate from the local language, so that way it makes it so that way they don't get confused with commands.
Correct.
Like most dogs are trained in, I think, German.
Yep.
Where, so that way they're not confused for English or Spanish.
Dude, you nailed that.
I didn't even know that. That's
yeah.
awesome.
It is super neat, actually.
Mm-hmm. So, like, his knowledge of how to say sit in 16 language would work here. Just start randomly
I'm just
throwing every word.
imagining. I'm imagining him sprinting, just like saying "sit" in like German, Russian, and all that. It's like, ah!
Okay, here we go. I glanced down, and it's gonna get even better.
Oh God.
No way could Solid Snake outrun this pack of trained attack dogs. Without a weapon, he couldn't even defend himself. Even if he managed to snatch up a branch from the jungle floor and use it as a club, Hallie was no match for half a dozen frenzied attack dogs who lived only to tear into an intruder's throat. Suddenly, an idea struck him. It was a crazy idea, but it could be his only chance. Throwing himself to the ground, Hallie raised himself up on all fours like a giant cat, bracing himself as the dogs came closer. He could smell he could smell their hot, strong breath and see their insane rolling eyes. I'm sure that their eyes are just focused on him. Most of all, there were those sharp white fangs less than a foot from his face. Now the killer dogs had almost reached him. They were only inches away from chewing him into raw hunks of bloody flesh. Solid Snake arched his back high. He snarled and growled low in his throat, meanwhile staring hard at the lead dog with narrow, angry eyes. Drawing his upper lip back, Hallie spat and yowled like a furious giant cat.
That's his plan?
Just as they heard Hallie's unearthly sounds, the strong scent of the panther musk on his camouflage suit hit the dog's sensitive noses. Jungle predator, a male panther. Between the sounds and the smell, the Dobermans perceived Solid Snake as a big cat. 170 pounds of pure panther power.
I am so tired.
There's something about pure panther power that just delights me.
This is so...
With incredibly strong teeth and claws sharp enough to rip a dog into confetti. And then throw a party. With the confetti, you see. The Doberman skidded to a halt, yelping, then turned tail and rushed away, almost knocking each other over in their eagerness to escape. Laughing under his breath, while I laugh over my breath. Justin Hallie watched them go. Then Hallie's expression turned serious. He had some heavy work to do. Oh my god, I'm crying.
I am too, and I'm not even laughing. That's the sad part.
You should be. You should laugh a lot more. It'll make it more bearable, because this is terrible. Crouching low, he slipped silently, almost invisibly, across the clearing to the nearest truck, about 50 yards away. Oh my god, he kept his eyes peeled for guards, but saw none. Empty. The truck stood empty. No guards, no dogs. On the seat in the truck's cab, a pair of powerful rubber-cased field binoculars had been left. Solid Snake's hands closed around them in triumph. The binoculars were the first piece of equipment he'd need. Now he was on his way.
Binocular, get!
Should he commandeer this truck? No, the third truck, parked furthest from him, was closest to the gate of outer heaven. It's like 50 feet! Like, just pick one and use it. That was the most useful one. By the time he'd made his way over there, he'd know if any of the trucks were guarded. The second truck was, in fact, guarded. Inside the cab, the uniformed guard, a muscular man with a heavy black mustache, was drowsing in the front seat. Hallie came up behind him without a sound. The man only turned in his sleep, snoring.
I feel asleep.
I just am he came up behind him while the guy was in his seat in the truck?
If that's the case, he would have seen him in the rearview mirror or the side mirror.
Yeah, the cab, that's where you sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 2 swift rabbit punches from Solid Snake's strong, quick fist, and the sleeping guard was out like a light on a one-way ticket to Dreamland.
But he was already out because he was asleep.
He was in Dreamland, Snake, you dumbass.
He's just hitting him to
I'm gonna
knock him
punch you
unconscious
like a
again.
rabbit. Huh.
Yeah, bam. Clearly, I am the greatest.
One-way ticket to dreamland.
Oh my god.
But was the sleeping guard alone?
Guards almost always come in pairs. A sudden noise behind him made Hallie turn. Another uniformed guard, tall and heavy, was leveling an automatic weapon at Solid Snake's stomach, growling something in a guttural language Hallie didn't understand. Why wouldn't he aim for his head? But Justin could see the guard's finger tightening on the trigger. Lightning fast, Hallie aimed a knee kick and connected. With a cry of pain, the big man went down, and an open-handed chop to his hairy neck finished him off for now. He lay still, not even twitching. Solid Snake looked around. The overpowering of the two guards had been so swift and silent that no alarm has been raised. This is past tense. Had been raised.
Mhm.
Yet. But it could happen at any moment. Should he take the guard's Kalashnikov automatic weapon? No.
Yes.
Hallie might encounter metal detectors on his way into the Outer Heaven compound. Better wait until I'm inside, he thought. All the guards would have to go through the same metal detector, though. Like,
Well, and if you're going to be sneaking, you're going to be avoiding that stuff anyway, so...
yes, like, why? He's not going to waltz through the front door, I hope.
Nah, do it, though.
Do it for the vine.
Do it for the vine!
But something else caught Justin Hallie's eye. He knelt down at the side of the fallen guard. Attached to the big man's uniform by a pin was a plastic card bearing that same strange insignia and encoded with a series of raised symbols. Hallie recognized it immediately as a key card that might activate at least one of the electronic doors and gates of the Metal Gear base. The fallen man must be an officer to be authorized to carry a key. This was a real piece of luck. Solid Snake pocketed the key card and moved rapidly towards the third truck.
All right.
The third truck was empty and unguarded. It was parked fairly close to the gate of the base. Justin Hallie got behind the wheel and put the truck into low gear. The vehicle moved slowly toward the entrance of the base. Driving with one hand and feeling around on the front seat with the other, Solid Snake found a package of half-eaten rations. Evidently, the men must have recently had their breakfast. Cautiously, he took a nibble, tasted it, and made a face. Government-issued field rations are the same all over the world, he thought. They may be packed densely with nutrition and vitamins, but they still taste like a cross between cat food and an old rubber tire. Gross. Even so, he chewed the rations quickly and swallowed grimly, no telling when he'd get another meal, and this so-called food would at least give him a quick energy boost. Also on the seat was a pack of cigarettes. Hallie reached for them, but drew his hand back. Could they be poisoned? Why would they be poisoned?
Of course they are. They're cigarettes.
Yeah, it's called
All right.
nicotine.
Look, I can hide these in my stomach.
No stomach acid. His instincts told him that they could be a deadly trap. That's not instincts, that's paranoia. They're cigarettes. And even if the cigarettes contained no added poisons, they were deadly enough in themselves, says
Right.
chain smoker Solid Snake. He decided to leave them where they were, but he did take the matches. Matches could be used in many ways.
Unless they explode.
It's true. They could also be, like...
Yeah, like
you
the
know,
core of
if-
the match is just all the same as the tip, so like you light it and it just flashes in your hand and burns your fingers.
Yeah, or like, I don't know, if they're doused in gasoline, like...
Bit extreme, but yeah.
If he's gonna be stupid, I'm gonna be stupid.
Cigarettes! Oh no! They could be poison!
But they're already poisoned with nicotine. So stupid.
Gasp.
The truck
But
was at
not
the gate.
not the rations. The rations should be perfectly fine.
No,
Oh, yeah.
clearly someone's already eaten off of it, so they must be fine. But this pack of cigarettes is brand new. Maybe they resealed it.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be
Who knows?
poison. But wait, where's the guy that was eating this ration? Maybe he died from the poison.
See? Paranoia pays off.
Oh no, I'm dying. Of poison.
The truck was at the gate now. Solid Snake slipped out of the driver's seat and crouched down, keeping the vehicle between him and the gate. While his quick eyes darted around, checking for guards. He just drove to the front entrance. 2 armed men were patrolling, but they were overconfident, talking to each other in that same strange language. They didn't
That's
expect
racist.
to see. I know, right? They didn't expect to see Hallie, so they didn't see Hallie. I don't expect to see a T-Rex. Does that mean I'm gonna see a T-Rex?
No, it means you're not going to see a T-Rex.
Oh, right. He had made himself into a shadow as he'd been trained. Holding his breath, Solid Snake waited until they passed along to the far side of the electrified fence. Then, Hallie duck walked to the gate. What? What's a duck walk?
He duck walked up to the gate.
Looking for the electronic lock. So he really did bypass 2 guards who are guarding the front gate.
By
went
waddling.
to the front door. He waddled to the front door and is gonna open the front door and let himself in.
They all just turn and look at him as he's waddling. Quack.
They're like,
That's
it's
just a duck. Stupid duck. Yeah, quack.
Quack.
As he waddles.
When he reached it, he stood up. This was it. Would the key card in his hand be the one that opened this locked gate, or would the alarm go off, bringing guards running from all sides? Could you imagine if every time you used an incorrect key card on a lock, instead of just going like beep beep, like declining, it raised every alarm?
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Only one way to find out. Jesus Christ. Hallie pressed the... There's no other way in, you see. For a split second... Hallie pressed the embossed side of the card against the lock. For a split second, nothing happened. Then, a click. The gate opened, and Hallie ran inside, swifter than a shadow and just as invisible.
Okay. Nobody sees me.
And I'm in.
I'm in.
I don't know if you're copying, but I'm in. He whispered into the homing device, the compass he'd been carrying. No radio, so no response. Once again, Justin wondered if anyone back at command could hear him. Maybe the compass was defective. Didn't they tell him that they could hear him, but he wouldn't be able to hear them anyway?
Yeah,
So
apparently
why
he forgot that part.
Constantly just like, can they hear me? Is it broken?
I'm focusing on your words, but I'm not hearing them. All right, Snake, now what are you doing? I go find bad thing and break it.
Maybe the compass was defective. I mean, is the magnet working?
Does it point north still?
Maybe the transmission channel was blocked or scrambled. Maybe. Who knew? The possibilities for a mess-up were almost endless.
They told you to get a transceiver.
They're like, you can't hear us unless you get a transceiver. And he's just looking at the compass like, is this the transceiver?
He's like shaking it.
Can you hear me? What he didn't know was that although the compass was really just a compass, he was transmitting after all through a hidden micro radio that had been sewn into the into his sleeve back at the base. He's in, Commander South announced, his eyes on the large computer screen. Heaven help him, whispered General West.
Outer heaven help him.
Jesus, this is terrible. Hey, at the end of the next chapter, we're going to get our first game hint.
Oh.
So,
ooh, yeah,
5.
it's straight up. Oh, wow, it's even upside down.
Yeah, they put it upside down.
No spoilers!
Chapter 5, Level 1. Hiding in the shadow of one of the empty trucks parked inside the compound, Solid Snake took a long look around. What Hallie was looking for was something that would give him an indication of where Metal Gear might be concealed. A hatch leading to an underground silo, maybe. That's in Utah.
Yeah. Like,
Or maybe...
where all of my other boyfriends and I were trained.
Or a building within the complex that was more remote and more fortified than the rest. I hope that it's just a giant sign that says Metal Gear. That's all I want.
I want that.
Metal Gear was here.
The Metal Gear is in another castle.
Oh, God.
So, have you guys ever played Maniac Mansion?
No.
I have, but it's been like
So
20
there's a
years?
secret lab in there, and in poor spelling written on the wall. It says secret lab and was an arrow pointing at this the biggest door in the damn game.
I know that in like half the copies out in the world, you can microwave a hamster and he explodes.
Yep. But only half.
Anyway,
I'm taking a picture of Ashley. She was sleeping very peacefully, and now she decided to clean herself. So she's my mascot currently. She's keeping me sane. Aw, she's stretching. All right, back to it.
she's your revolver ocelot.
She is.
You're pretty good.
You're the revolver ocelot to my venom snake, or my Eva. I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, but he was handicapped by the fact that nobody in Foxhound Command knew what Metal Gear looked like. Was it something so big it needed a huge protected structure to house it? Or so small that it was only a deadly microchip, computer triggered or radio controlled? A barbed wire fence around a building was no guarantee that Metal Gear was to be found inside. Could be anywhere in Outer Heaven, even in Colonel Vermin Katafi's shirt pocket.
Oh my god.
All he had to go on was the name, Metal Gear. Somehow that hinted to Hallie that the weapon itself was large and needed a sizable building to itself. But he's not sure.
And, a gear can be literally any size.
Yeah. It could be like, if it was a literal gear, it could be in someone's watch.
Or on the floor.
Anyway, Brandon's throwing things. Crossing the field that separated the outside fence from the windowless complex of Outer Heaven, the young Marine captain spotted a door at the base of one of the buildings. Using the key card, Hallie placed it in the slot on the door, face down. He could hear the latch click, and he pushed gingerly at the door. It opened to his touch. He was inside now, on the first level of the first building.
Nice.
He pressed himself against a wall, becoming a shadow, and let his eyes do the walking.
Wow, I guess you do walk with your eyes.
I knew it! I knew it!
Damn, well. I guess I'll take my drink now.
There were many doors along the hallways of Building 1, and all of them were guarded. Armed and uniformed terrorists, most of them carrying high-tech automatic weapons, were everywhere. Solid Snake knew that at least at the start, he would have to avoid the guards wherever possible. Once he knew his way around, and once he'd located a weapon of his own, he'd be able to fight. For now, there's a comma after fight, where there should be a period.
Also, he openly decided, no, I will not take this automatic weapon with me.
Yeah.
I'll wait till I'm inside to get a different weapon, like a knife.
So dumb. For now, though, the only intelligent thing was to remain concealed. The intelligent thing would have been to grab a gun. But for how long would Hallie's concealment be safe or effective? Sorry. There had to be surveillance devices everywhere in the compound. Hallie scanned the walls and ceilings for the telltale red eye of a video camera, but he didn't see one. That could mean the cameras were hidden from view, or it could mean that other types of sensors might be operating. Heat seekers or motion detectors, for example. So it's a good thing that he, figured all this out before he went inside. They were common devices frequently used in securing premises. Those would certainly tip off the terrorist leader to the presence of an intruder. But if that were so, wouldn't the patrolling guards confuse the sensors? No, it had to be hidden video cameras linked to some giant console control board somewhere in the complex. Solid Snake looked around for stairs leading to the upper floors, but he didn't see any. 2 elevators, east and west, not to be confused with General West, according to Hallie's compass, were all that were available to Solid Snake to get him from the first level to another floor. The elevators were an added risk and posed a real danger of possible entrapment. Also risky were the corridors leading to the elevators. There were 3 of them. Hallie took the one to the left. He found himself facing 3 doors. He tried his key card on the first door, but it didn't respond. Why not? The slot for the card was there. Why didn't the door open? Obviously, card doesn't go to the door. Unless, for the first time, Solid Snake realized that there might be more than one key card.
Oh my god. There's different clearance levels, which means I need to get a different key card.
In
You
fact,
sure he's the best and brightest?
now he was certain of it. Each individual card only opened a small designated number of doors, and it would take more than one to open all the doors. Just how many keys is capitalized. Just how many keys would Justin Halley need to fully penetrate outer heaven? Although Justin didn't know it, there were actually 8 key cards. Thank you, narrator.
Side note. Did you know?
Author's note. Although Justin didn't know it, there were actually 8 key cards that, used together, unlocked all the doors in the compound. It was an elaborate system in which the higher the soldier's rank, the more key cards he was entitled to carry. Only Colonel Vermin Katafi himself carried all 8 key cards. His 2 most trusted terrorist aides were entitled to 6 each.
Then why the fuck
But
is
the
there a
key-
7th?
I don't know. Well, 7 and 8, like, I don't know.
Like, yeah,
But
just
the
like,
key
why not
card-
just drop 8 and just stop at 7? At that
I
rate.
know. But the key card in Solid Snake's possession did manage to trip the second lock and get inside the second door. Oh wait, and get the second door open. Hallie slipped inside the room. It was a small room, little more than a closet, and it smelled bad, like chemicals.
How
The
would you
room
know?
gave-
You rubbed yourself in cat pee.
This is the bleach he needs to get rid of the
Oh,
smell.
Thank God. A shower.
The room gave the young Marine a bad feeling, and he wanted out of there. But first, he forced himself to look around. Something was lying on a shelf near the door. Hallie grabbed it and ducked back outside. The door clicked shut behind him, locked again. He looked at the thing he was holding in his hand. It was the gas mask. Considering the chemical smells, the gas mask made perfect sense. It was probably used during experimentation in that room. It could be useful, but what Solid Snake really wanted was a weapon. You know, he had access to one.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's the key cards is the issue. I love how he's like sitting there. I don't know if this key card would ever work. It could set off 1,001 alarms. Gets to this other door. Oh, come on! Snipe, swipe, swipe, swipe.
What the hell's that guy doing over there? I don't know.
But he decided to keep the gas mask and move down the corridor. The guards were still patrolling, back and forth, up and down. Now they were coming Hallie's way. Their heavy boots making cadenced footsteps. Their sounded closer and closer. Hugging the wall, Hallie raced off in the opposite direction to the nearest side door of level 1. Quickly, he tried his key card, which he now thought of as key card 1. It worked. The door opened, and Hallie was back outside the building before the terrorist guards caught a glimpse of him. 3 military trucks were parked just outside the door. They were marked with the same strange insignia of the other vehicles he'd seen outside the compound. Hallie ran swiftly towards them, hoping to find them unguarded. He was lucky. No terrorist guards were in sight. Also, the number of times that they are referred to as terrorists, it's so propaganda. Like, I don't know. It just feels very propaganda to be like, they're terrorists!
All of them terrorists.
All of them. We don't know. Quickly but thoroughly, Justin began to search the trucks. He was searching for something, anything that could be useful in his mission. Luck was with him. In the left-hand truck, his fingers closed around a familiar something. A pistol grip. Sorry. Justin Hallie had to bite his tongue to keep from letting out a yell of triumph. But his moment of triumph was brief. Hallie had found a handgun, the Beretta M92F, a lightweight weapon, yet accurate and deadly. But with it, there was no clip of ammunition. So, without it, there was no clip of ammunition. The gun was empty. Still, it was a beginning. Game hint. Get the rocket launcher on the 2nd floor of Building 2. After you have earned 4 stars, call Jennifer on frequency 12048.
Yay!
Hey, we've made it to chapter 6, page 34. Freeing the prisoners.
Out of 85 pages.
Oh,
On the
mine's
PDF.
100. Oh, yeah, it's 122 in mine.
Fair.
Okay. Chapter 6. Freeing the prisoners. Quickly, Solid Snake pocketed the empty Beretta and moved on to the right-hand truck. He avoided going near the truck that was parked in the middle, convinced it was a trap. He'd noticed a thin, almost invisible wire snaking from under the truck's chassis and rightly presumed that there was a detonator somewhere and explosives in the truck. Okay. But maybe the truck on the right had some clips of ammo stashed in it to use with the gun. He searched it carefully, but yielded up nothing in the way of bullets. It did have a special steel pocket hidden in the door of the cab. Using all of his strength, Hallie forced it open and found some anti-tank mines. It's on 2 different lines, so it's like anti-tank. Anti-tank mines. Good. These might come in handy. I'm just gonna keep some anti-tank mines just in a compartment in my car.
Yeah, just
How's
keep
he
'em.
carrying all this shit?
It's his special camo. It's got
Carefully.
pockets.
I have hammer
100
space. Fuck you.
Hallie added the mines to the small but growing arsenal he was beginning to put together. With the mines and the Beretta, Hallie made his way back across the compound and used his keycard to get back inside Building 1. Peering around a corner, Hallie could see guards approaching. He was close to the east elevator. It was his only chance. He dashed quickly to get it and used his keycard to get the door open. The guards passed an instant after the elevator was closed, or the elevator door closed. They saw nothing. Hallie pressed the elevator button for the 3rd floor. He decided to try to proceed systematically from the top floor down. Where's the 2nd floor? But when the door opened, Solid Snake caught a glimpse of something familiar. Little red eyes. There were infrared sensor cameras on the 3rd floor. Unblinking, all-seeing little red eyes. The young Marine captain had to keep tight against the wall to avoid the surveillance lenses. He figured that the entire complex must be monitored, some parts with cameras, others with heat-sensing or motion-sensing devices. How long would he be able to escape detection? Well, hopefully for the whole mission.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
ideally.
Justin Hallie...
I just choke people.
Yeah, you know, you could also just punch them out.
Yes.
Justin Hallie suspected that the evil Colonel Katafi was using part of Building 1 as prison cells for the snakemen he'd already captured.
Ugh.
Why? Why do you suspect this? It was part of Hallie's mission to set them free, but Commander South had warned Snake that perhaps some of the snakemen had turned double agent and shouldn't be trusted. Hallie found that hard to believe. The men in his squad had all been courageous, highly trained, loyal, and patriotic. Doesn't mean they can't be turned.
Yeah.
The snake men were the best, handpicked. Their special forces training was the toughest in the world. Only the handful that came out of it in one piece were allowed to call themselves snake men. How could they change? What kind of torture could even a fiend like Colonel Katafi devise that would make a snake man betray his commander, his squad, and his country? Because Solid Snake still had only one key card, he could only go in through the doors that opened. The first few doors he tried failed to respond to the card, but the 4th door opened when the key card was inserted. In the center of the room, a prisoner was tied in a chair, moaning, nearly unconscious. The prisoner was Chuck Robinson, a snake man, a good friend. Hallie should have stopped in the doorway to assess the situation for potentially lethal booby traps or explosives. Yeah, he should have. All his training had prepared him for caution above everything. But he couldn't help it. When he saw Chuck in that chair, he ran forward to his buddy's side. Chuck! Chuck, it's me, Hallie! The man stirred and raised his head a little. Solid Snake? Justin, is that you? It's me, good buddy. Let's get these ropes off you. Think you can stand up? I'll give it a try. But Robinson was not in any shape to stand. When the ropes came off, he fell to the floor in a heap. It's no good, Hallie. Leave me here. Try to set some of the others free. They may be able to help you. Maybe if I rest a while. What have you been doing? Solid Snake was reluctant to go, but there were over a dozen other prisoners, if they were alive. He had to find them and set them free. They were his snakemen brothers, his comrades in arms. He couldn't just leave them here to die. Listen, Justin, this is very important. The heat panels. The heat panels. Don't try to talk, Chuck. Just take it easy. No, you've got to listen to me. The heat panels. You can't get to Metal Gear without crossing the heat panels. They're terrible, terrible burning. They burn. Chuck's delirious, thought Solid Snake. He needs medical attention badly. Dude's been trapped here. You think he'd... No, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Eat the rations.
Jesus Christ.
Eat the rations. You've got to have plenty of rations if you want to make it through, or you'll die on the heat panels.
Okay, now he sounds crazy.
Chuck kept mumbling the same words over and over, his voice weak but his words heavy with urgency. Right, good buddy, will do, said Solid Snake softly. Listen, Chuck, I'm gonna leave the door unlocked for you. Try to make it out of here. If you can't, I'll come back and get you after I finish with Metal Gear. Is that a go? Chuck nodded wearily. But the heat panels, he said again. Listen to me. You've got to raise your own body temperature if you want to survive. You gotta eat. I hear you, Chuck. Take care, Solid Snake. Hallie nodded grimly. I'll take care, he promised. The keycard opened the doors, in which he found several more Snake Men prisoners. All of them had been tortured, and several of them were unable to speak. It almost broke Justin Hallie's heart to see his friends in such a condition, but only almost. He set the men free, promising to return and get them all out to safety once his mission was completed. So far, none of the rooms had contained any ammunition for his Beretta. He needed weapons to penetrate the inner defenses of outer heaven. He had to keep looking. From one of the rooms on level 3, Solid Snake could sense something seeping from under the door. The odor, bitter and stinging, was unmistakable to anyone with Hallie's training. Poison gas. Well, thank goodness he has a gas mask. Hallie put on the gas mask. Should he avoid this room or go into it? His sense of survival told him to stay clear of the poison gas, but his logic told him something different. Why would the terrorists bother to gas the room unless they had something of vital importance hidden there? Solid Snake had to take the risk. Using his keycard, he got the door open. It was a large room, and at first it appeared to be empty, but as Solid Snake crossed it wearing his gas mask, the floor suddenly tilted up, sending him lurching backward, barely able to keep his balance. There was a terrible rumbling sound growing louder and louder through the fog of poison gas that filled the room. Solid Snake found it difficult to make out what was happening. Then he saw it, the deadly trap, a huge rolling device, a giant steel pin, 8 feet long and weighing 3,000 pounds, heavy enough to crush a man to death, detached itself from the wall and came rolling across the sloped floor, coming at him at top speed. Unless it was stopped in only a few seconds, it would smash the life out of Solid Snake.
Fuck yeah!
Game hint. Avoid surveillance cameras by staying next to the walls.
Okay.
Rolling pin of doom.
Here we go. Chapter 7. A Terrorist's Face. The deadly roller came thundering closer. The floor tilted crazily. It's crazy. Solid Snake staggered and found it impossible to stay on his feet. The pin was moving more rapidly, gaining momentum with every second that passed. It was moving a lot faster than Hallie, and soon it would be on top of him. Solid Snake thought fast. Crouching down to the floor, Hallie waited and watched as the pin got closer. At the precise moment that it reached him, Solid Snake gave a mighty leap upwards and threw himself over the pin, rolling clear on the opposite side. The pin thundered onwards, smashing into the far wall. The floor, whose tilt was electronically clued into the rolling of the steel monster, became level again. As the floor straightened out, Hallie scrambled to his feet, shaky but unhurt. Before he could catch his breath, 3 terrorist guards came rushing out of concealment, weapons drawn. Solid Snake still had no ammunition for his handgun, and the mines were useless in this situation. All he could do was run. He was near the door, so he raced for it on the double. Without looking back, he pulled it shut behind him, using keycard 1 to lock it. The guards were shut inside. Without delay, well, they're gonna get rolling pinned to death now.
Aw. I want to watch
Without-
that.
I'll draw you like a little stick figure diagram.
I need to make little Play-Doh guys and just have a real rolling pin.
Without delay, Solid Snake used his keycard on the next room and the door swung open. Cautiously, he entered. The room at first appeared to be completely empty. No guards, no lethal devices. In the center of the floor stood only a table with a computer and some field rations on it. Were the rations poisoned?
Jesus.
Hallie hoped not, because he knew he'd have to take the chance anyway. Chuck's words came back to him. You've got to have plenty of rations if you want to make it through the heat panels. Maybe Chuck hadn't been delirious after all.
No, he's delirious, though. Shut up.
Solid Snake picked up the rations and sniffed at them. They smelled terrible, but all field rations smelled terrible. Justin ate some and pocketed the rest. Then he turned his attention to the computer on the table. It sat there, switched off, silently mocking and defying him. It just like ejects a CD drive and flips him off.
Just like spits out the floppy disk.
Yeah, it says bitch on it. What was its purpose? What information did it hold? Solid Snake reached across the table and turned the computer on.
I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading.
At once, the screen lit up and showed an enemy terrorist's face. It was the face of Colonel Vermin Katafi. Before Hallie had time to think, the face on the computer screen began to decompose right before his eyes. The picture turned into blocks, and they're called pixels. And the blocks were quickly scrambled until the face was an unrecognizable jumble. A small clock appeared on the screen, ticking the seconds down from 20 to 19 to 18. Hallie realized that this was a crucial identification test. The computer thought he was a terrorist and was putting him through a special run to make certain of his identity. Each person using this computer had only 20 seconds to unscramble the face. Do like a sliding puzzle. The guards were trained in this exercise, but Hallie was not. Quickly, Solid Snake began to strike the keys almost at random while the seconds ticked down one by one. He's just pounding the keyboard. On the screen, a couple pieces fell into place, and Hallie worked faster, but at the same time with more focus. The trick was to pay as little attention as possible to the clock counting down from 12 to 11 to 10 to 9. He's paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Just get the job done. 5, 4. Hallie had only 3 pieces of face left to go, but one piece he'd unscrambled before was in the wrong place and was blocking the right piece. Deep breath. Just do it. Just do it. 3, 2. The final piece clicked into place a nanosecond before the countdown stopped. There on the screen, the terrorist's face had been reassembled. Could you imagine you have to do this stupid puzzle every single time you turn a computer on?
No.
Damn it.
No.
So,
No.
Solid Snake heard a click. From a slot in the side of the computer came a small sound, and a key card slid out. Why? His reward for getting it right. A key card. The computer had fallen for his trick.
Trick.
He didn't trick the computer. He played the computer's game.
I slapped key real good. Oh, someone died. Was it Leo?
Oh, no, that's Liz.
That was me just pretending that's the keyboard.
Yes, bam, bam, bam. Got it.
Done. Jesus. He compared it to the first key card he had found and noticed that there was a pattern to the bumps on the card. With 2 cards in hand, it was easy to see that this was a numbering system. This was card 2. The bumps were carefully laid out in sections. He could tell that there were 8 cards in all. Now he had more rations and another precious key card.
I'm so happy that the enemy opposing terrorist organization still wants Braille for blind people, though. Let's
proud
make
of
sure it's
them.
inclusive.
Also, the terrorist computer is afraid of terrorists.
Yeah.
The next room couldn't be opened with keycard 1, but the door did open at the press of keycard 2. Inside was another bound Snake Man prisoner, Jim Tibbet. Solid Snake, thank God you're here. I'd just about given up hope. I have a message for you from Diana. She says Gray Fox infiltrated the enemy several days ago. They captured him, but he is alive. Gray Fox was squad leader of the Snake Men.
What?
No, he's not! Could Justin Hallie rely on the truth of that message? How could Diana have gotten through to Jim? And when? Before he was captured? Could he trust Tibbet?
No.
Or was this only some kind of lying trick to divert Solid Snake from his main objective, Metal Gear? Hallie looked deep into the objective. Wait. Sorry. Hallie looked deep into the Snake Man Jim's eyes, searching for the truth. His name is Snake Man Jim. I'm Snake Man Justin.
Wait, doggy, see, I'm out here with Snake Man Jim.
Yum.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Searching for the truth. It seemed to him that it was there. But if he were wrong, if Jim Tibbet was lying and Hallie believed him, the mistake could easily prove fatal. Yet, he really wanted to believe that Gray Fox was still alive. What should he decide? Solid Snake was torn between his desire to set his friends free and to get them to safety and his mission to find Metal Gear wherever and whatever it was and destroy it. It was a hard choice, but the mission came above everything. Those were his orders, and if he was here in outer heaven, he was here in outer heaven to obey them. If on the way he found Gray Fox alive, that would be the icing on the cake, but he couldn't stop to look for him. Yet he resolved in his heart to keep his eyes open for Gray Fox and to question every prisoner he set free about the squad leader. If anybody could help him in this mission, it was Gray Fox. I'll come back for you.
Are you Gray Fox? No? Okay. Are you Gray Fox? No? Okay.
I'll come back for you as soon as I can, Hallie promised Tibbet. Hang in there, Jim. Rest up. The door is unlocked now, so be careful. I will, Jim replied, weakly shaking Justin's hand. You be careful, too. In the next room, opened by keycard 2, Hallie was hit by odorless poison gas as soon as the door opened. He felt his lungs choking with pain. With only seconds to spare, he got his gas mask on. Something caught his eye, even through the gas. Taped to the baseboard on the far wall were 3 clips of ammunition for the Beretta. They're just taping bullets to the wall. Bullets. Now he felt like a combat marine again. Now Solid Snake was armed. In the same room, he found a small package containing the silencer for the Beretta. That made Solid Snake grin, and he screwed the silencer onto the end of the barrel.
Containing the silencer. Not a silencer. The silencer. As in the only silencer.
There's only one.
And it's mine.
The next space he entered was a small armory, a supplementary weapons stash. Hell yeah. On a high shelf, Justin Hallie located a grenade launcher and a cache of grenades.
How the fuck is he carrying this?
They got straps.
Don't mind me. I've got a backpack.
But it was too important to leave behind. Solid Snake strapped the grenade launcher to his back and slung a heavy bandolier of grenades over his chest. Now he looked like a fighting man.
Okay, bandolier is a gigantic ass word for a book of this level. I'm just saying. Like what's the reading age for this? Like for real?
I think 6 to 12. Grade 6 to 12? I don't know.
have literally never heard that word read aloud in the 30 years of my life.
Hang on a second. Worlds of Power, Metal Gear. Where's the Amazon link? There it is. Grade levels 4 to 6, reading age 9 to 12 years old.
Okay, well, I stand by my statement.
Yeah. Game hint. To get through the maze, go left 2 screens.
That's not a maze then.
That's just going left 2 screens.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this last chapter, and then we'll call it.
Just chapter 8? Okay. So we'll stop right at 9.
Then we're going, like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I know you got to get ready for bed soon.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and then once I finish organizing my nail polish, hopefully it'll be like 10-ish, and I'll be starting Resident Evil. Oh, yeah.
Don't worry. I plan to play the ever-loving hell out of that come Sunday.
Yay!
I mean, I'll have mine tomorrow, but, I mean, I have Sunday off, so...
Yeah. Yeah. Chapter 8. Captured. Oh, sorry, it's captured! Hello? Whispered Hallie urgently into his compass. Hello? Control, do you copy? Was there anybody on his side listening to him, monitoring his whereabouts? Hallie didn't know. Find a radio!
Like, they literally told you day one, this isn't gonna work this way, buddy.
Yeah, but instead, he took a nap, covered himself in cat pee, and disturbed a bunch of monkeys. Doggedly, Solid Snake kept moving forward from one room to another. He hoped to find Gray Fox, but his first priority was to locate a transceiver radio as soon as he could. Time was crunching Justin Hallie. Damn. That's really rude of Time. Or maybe he's using Justin Hallie to do his crunches.
Oh, yeah.
Proud of Time. he needed to he needed to receive his radio messages from Control to guide him further into the depths of outer heaven, and he had to have those radio transmissions. Hallie was feeling isolated, as though he'd been completely cut off from Foxhound Command. Because he has been! That's the point! Was the point. He didn't even know if his homing device, the compass, was operational. Was the base receiving him? Were they tracking him? Did they even know he was still alive? Taking the elevator down to the first floor, Solid Snake made up his mind to try keycard 2 to open those locked doors that hadn't responded to him when he had only keycard 1. To locate Metal Gear, he would need a lot more clues. Hallie emerged from the elevator into a part of the level that was used as a storehouse. It was piled high with evenly stacked rows of heavy wooden crates, each one large enough to house a small truck or an all-terrain vehicle. Maybe one of them is Metal Gear. Who knows? He doesn't.
Why not?
Making his way through the stacked-up wooden crates, which were painted with the Outer Heaven insignia, Justin Hallie narrowly avoided a deadly trapdoor between two of them. But as he did, a nail protruding from one of the crates caught his sleeve and yanked at his arm.
Oh no! Bye-bye, radio.
This exact same thing.
I really hope. The compass went flying out of Solid Snake's hand, down into the well of the trapdoor and out of sight. Solid Snake was stunned. He's never dropped anything in his life before. He believed the compass to be his actual homing device, sending out a signal that only Foxhound Command could receive. He didn't know that the real homing device was sewn into the sleeve of his camouflage suit. Now Justin thought the loss of his compass had cut him off totally from Foxhound Command. He'd have to act completely on his own, without any thought of backup from the U.S. Marines or Commander South. But perhaps, when he found the radio, Diana might be able to guide him. Solid Snake's search for the radio doubled in intensity. And there were still more Snake Men to set free. Some of them might have important clues for him. Hallie moved swiftly, silently, cautiously, from room to room.
Did they put that line in there about the compass to, like, in case you forgot, reader, who's been ideally not reading this book since then?
Which one?
So, like, it's, just as a reminder, he didn't know that the real homing device was sewn into the sleeve, like they'd explained back in chapter 1.
Yeah,
that
they
was
re-explain it every, like, 6 pages.
Yeah.
You know, in case I put it down and I came right back to it, just to make sure.
Yeah, those were words in the book that I read out loud.
That is a thing I've read, yes.
Yeah. In one of the keycard 1 rooms, a prisoner named Frank Wachowski gave Justin Hallie an important clue. Gray Fox is locked up in a hidden solitary cell room. The best way to get to the hidden cell is to let the enemy capture you on purpose. Let the terrorists capture him, actually surrender to the enemy in order to infiltrate more deeply. It might be a workable plan. Could this guy Wachowski be lying to trick him? Hallie freed the prisoner and, thinking hard, set off again by himself. Looking through a door, Hallie spotted always three trucks.
Yeah.
Parked in a row near the outside wall. Solid Snake had been lucky with trucks so far, locating rations, weapons. Wait. Did you say stopping at 9 o'clock?
Huh?
What?
Earlier when I said...
Oh, chapter 9 is what I said.
Oh, I was like, it's not 9 o'clock for either of us.
You're drunk. Too many Snake Men.
Too many Snake Men.
Snake Man shooter! Tequila huevo!
There was a point where the reason my Discord subtitle is Snake Water is because I was trying to type Snake Eater to my friend and my phone corrected it to water.
Because eater isn't a word.
Snake Water. Eater isn't a word?
I say that sarcastically.
Oh, I was like, it has to be. I'm just enough into, like, I'm deep enough into the fandom that I'm actually like, is it a real word?
Oh my god, yeah. No. Just, once you're done with the fandom, get a hold of me and Chicho and Woody, and we will just go to town.
Oh yeah, I'm still working my way through it, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, I'm excited for when you're done.
blah, blah.
Looking through the door, spotted 3 trucks parked in a row near the outside wall. Solid Snake had been lucky with the trucks so far, locating rations, weapons, and necessary equipment in them. Could he get lucky again? Yes. In one of the trucks was an Ingram Mac 2 submachine gun with a full clip. So he's got a grenade launcher with a bandolier of grenades. He has a Beretta with ammo. He has a bunch of rations, and now he has a submachine gun with a full clip.
And he has
Yeah,
used none of it.
With the Beretta and now the lightweight, rapid-firing automatic Mac 2, not to mention the grenade launcher, the grenades, and the anti-tank mines. Oh, and the mines. Snake was becoming a walking arsenal ready for any fight. But it was also a pretty heavy load for one fighting man to carry. Maybe he'd make better time if he didn't walk or run, if he didn't have to walk or run everywhere. For example, if he had wheels. Get this man a skateboard!
Oh, shit! No, rollerblades!
Rollerblades!
Yeah. Wait, you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 2 yet, right?
Not Solid, but I did Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Okay, Metal Gear Solid 2.
And Metal Gear Solid 1 right now.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is going to be great then, because Fat Man.
I'm ready.
Oh my god, he's great.
Okay. Hallie decided to commandeer one of the trucks. He didn't even go for a skateboard. It was at that very moment that Justin Hallie's luck ran out. As he climbed out of the cab of the truck, a squad of terrorists appeared as if out of nowhere. Suddenly, Solid Snake was surrounded on all sides. There were guards everywhere, each man with an automatic weapon aimed straight at his chest. There were no options left. There was nothing to do but surrender. Hallie put his hands up and allowed the terrorists to take him quietly. He got all of those weapons, and they're going to be taken away from him. Captured. Solid Snake was a prisoner. Did this mean that his mission was at an end? A failure? Okay, but like the guy literally said, get caught. Had he let the Corps down, betrayed the Snake Men's squad, Commander South, his country, and the free world?
Wow, this guy is putting a lot on himself.
Well, let's see here. Get caught or get shot.
Yeah, like what?
Huh.
At least being alive, you can still fight your way out.
Yeah.
Snake!
Hallie suddenly recalled the words of Frank Witkowski, the last prisoner he'd freed, like 3 pages ago. The best way to get out of the cell is to let the enemy capture you or to get to the hidden cell is to let the enemy capture you on purpose. Could that Snake Man be right? Solid Snake was about to find out. Roughly, the guards stripped Hallie of his bandolier of grenades, the gas mask, the Beretta, the Mac 2, the anti-tank mines, the ammo, the grenade launcher, the binoculars, the rations. Like, do we need a rundown every other page of what he's carrying? They confiscated. Here we go. So all of that for it to continue with, they confiscated all of Solid Snake's weapons and equipment. Like, yeah, you could have just said that. Or at least they thought they did. But there was one crucial exception. Katafi's men missed something. Because the terrorists could not conceive of Solid Snake having key cards in his possession. Why not? He's literally gotten indoors. God, because they believed that he'd brought his own weapons into outer heaven with him, and because the key cards were no larger or thicker than an American Express card, the guards didn't find them when they frisked him for more weapons. Where's he hiding them? They in his jail pocket?
They're in the prison pocket.
Prison pocket, that's it. The key cards were still safe, deep down in the pocket of Solid camos. Now that he was a prisoner, what were the odds against his meeting Gray Fox? Witkowski had told him that the terrorists had the squad leader hidden away somewhere in solitary confinement. The guards spun Justin Hallie around. They're just like spin. And a black, greasy blindfold was tied tightly around his eyes. Gross. He could see nothing. Prodding Solid Snake along painfully with their weapons, they marched him, stumbling, inside a building and down a long corridor. They turned so many corners that Hallie couldn't hold on to a sense of orientation. He had no idea where they were taking him. At last, they reached a stopping point. The terrorists yanked cruelly at Solid Snake's arms to get him to stop. Justin Hallie heard a cell door open, and he was pushed roughly inside, falling to the hard stone floor. Excuse me. The triumphant and mocking way the guards were laughing and sneering at him told Hallie plainly that his interrogation would be next, and very soon. He can really extrapolate a lot from things that I would just be like, those assholes are laughing at me. But he's like, I'm next. It's me, I'm next.
Oh, that son of a bitch over there knows the secret formula for disarming the bomb.
The guards didn't even bother to tie Justin up. Another indication that they expected to be back for him within the hour. The door clanged shut. Reaching behind him, Solid Snake struggled with the thick knot of his blindfold until he got it off. The cell was so dimly lit that it was hard to make out anything except shadows, but in a few seconds, Hallie's eyes had adjusted to the lack of light, and he looked around him. There was a chair in the corner in which was tied a single prisoner, barely conscious. He was bound and gagged. Justin Hallie went to the prisoner. He removed the gag and untied the ropes that were cutting sharply into the man's wrists. Gently, he lifted his head to look at his face. The man's features were so swollen as to be unrecognizable. "Can you talk?" Justin whispered. "It's me, Hallie." "Solid Snake," the man whispered back through cracked lips. "So they sent you. I'm Gray Fox." He's like, "I know." The prisoner's voice faltered, and his words became so faint that Hallie had to press his ear right up against the squad leader's lips to hear what he'd say next. He's just tonguing his ear. The prisoner's voice faltered. Oh, wait, sorry. I read that. "Listen carefully. Wait, sorry, I'm doing it too loud.
What?
Sorry,
What?
let me get your
Where am I?
ear. Let me get your ear right up in here.
Yeah, tongue my ear. Do it though.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Do that again, Eva.
Listen carefully. We have very little time. The enemy is constructing the final weapon. Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
How close are they to having it finished? Demanded Justin. Very close, perhaps less than an hour away. Gray Fox's words came slowly and painfully. Hang on, Gray Fox, urged Solid Snake. Don't leave me now. I need you. Can you describe Metal Gear? How does it work? Is it large, small? No. None of the Snake Men have seen it. Do you know which building it's in? No. It's very well hidden. You're going to need a map. A map? What map? This is the first that Hallie had heard about a map to Metal Gear. Where will I find this map? He asked intently. The squad leader tried to raise his head but couldn't. I don't know. I only know there is one. What about Dr. Petovich? Solid Snake asked. Have you any clue to where they may be holding him? Gray Fox shook his head painfully. He could be anywhere. Katafi keeps moving him around. And Ellen, his daughter, is she here too? Yes, Katafi's men kidnapped her in order to make Dr. Petovich talk. Didn't know that. It was obvious that Gray Fox was fading quickly. He needed a doctor. Hallie felt the urgency of the situation tightening around him. This was the leader of his squad. He couldn't just let him die. He had to rescue Gray Fox. Solid Snake, listen. Not much time. Can you get us out of here before they come back for us? I'll try, promised Hallie. But with what? His bare hands?
Yes.
That was part of the book.
I know.
There we are.
I'm reading along.
Telling Leo. Didn't know if Leo had it open.
I did.
And there we go. That is the end of chapter 8.
Puts us about halfway through, roughly.
Yep. Look, just like a few pages under. I feel good about it. We did a good job. I figure one more 2-hour
binge.
Sorry, I accidentally decided to mute myself. One more 2-hour session, and we should be done with this gem.
this precious gem.
This thing we're reading.
See, I must not be looking at the same thing because all I'm seeing is a rock.
Well, that's because you gotta do your looking with your ears.
Oh shit! Because we walk with our eyes.
It's true. Yep.
Then what do we use our feet for?
Dancing.
Swimming.
No, that's what boots are for, Leo. God.
Well,
Leo-
these boots are made for walking.
Shit! Oh, you got me there.
I thought eyes were made for walking.
Oh, wait,
Eyes
yeah.
are made for walking. Boots are what you put on eyes. There you go. Get your eye boots.
Done.
This book is kind of a weird catastrophe, right?
This is a lot. I really enjoyed it because it was bad.
Is it a
But it was like-
streak? God damn it.
Half.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I tried and I failed very, very badly.
I appreciated the attempt. I did, however, miss a call from my sister, so I am going to bow out. Can't
Fair enough.
stop
Fair enough.
my
Yeah, I
recording.
think some people wanted me to see if I can hang with them online, so I'm going to do that. All
Fair
right,
enough.
later, y'all.
All
It
right.
was fun.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
talk- Yeah, we'll do it again another time.
Definitely.
That's amazing.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.